red-white deck. Reid is currently 1-1, lost last round, but he wants to be off to a quick start, and sure enough, here he is with Descendant of Storms, a 2-1 for 1.
It's fascinating. You get a limited tournament with 1,200 people in it. Some decks are going to break the mold a little bit. I played at the pre-release last weekend with Matt Nass, recent Pro Tour champion. His sealed deck was 2 colors. Now, I think that 3, 4, 5 is a lot more common, but every once in a while you are going to run into be it because of certain rares or just the way your card pool breaks, that you do have some, nuts and bolts beatdowns here from someone like Reid Duke.
And we are going to put a counter on this Descendant of Storms too, which is really nice when they attack there from Reid, Bearer of Glory, for David Galperin on the other side. So
the Descendant of Storms I had in my sealed deck, and it's great if you have it on turn 1, but the average sealed deck, it's not going to have untapped white mana very frequently.
Yeah.
Reid's in the position, you're just playing 2 colors with a bunch of basics. That's in your opening hand. It's likely to be on time, and then you start really running downhill if this thing is unchecked.
Man, I love this card that David just played, this 2/4. You can pay 1 to sacrifice a creature and draw a card. Hardened Tactician. It's sick. And also as a brick wall kind of a little bit here for Reid.
Well, Reid can go up to...
Yeah, he could put another counter.
But it would be the entire turn.
So instead we're going to play our Rescue Leopard. 4/2, Rummager. Makes sense that a cat would rummage.
Man, I know I'm a little late to the party here, and I don't mean to be speaking ill of our friend here, but Reid's deck looks putrid. It's not his fault.
Wow.
It's just the cards that got open, but these are a lot of... If these cards are in your sealed deck, you're in some trouble.
Oh, God. Caustic Exile and Twin Bolt take care of both of his creatures. And now we're going to attack. We've got the 2/4, the Bearer of Glory, and poor Reid. Well, I mean, look, sometimes you have to build the aggressive deck if you don't open the 5-color nonsense.
Maybe he's got Hill Giant this turn.
Oh, my God.
Rock of Care Ridges. Pearled Unicorn, perhaps. Reid would never crack in this spot.
Look, they don't print Hill Giant anymore, don't you know?
I know. There's there's a 4-mana 3/3 flyer with Mobilize.
Yes,
and it's medium.
Arash and Sunshield, how about a 3/4 for 4? It can tap something for a white.
Yeah. Reid really went deep in the 25-cent bin here.
Oh, my God. Look.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. Oh, and a lot of removal here from David as well. There's a Molten Exhale.
Oh, Reid.
Look at him.
Poor Reid.
He can hear you. That's what it is. He's so sad because you're roasting him like a chicken on a Sunday.
I'm not roasting. None of this is his fault. His opponent spends 2 mana to kill his 4-mana thing and then attacks for 7 and draws a bunch of cards.
Delkov and Pack Beasts, 2 from David. This is the 0/4 Ox that it has mobilized 3. I kind of love this card. It's so weird. All right, Mardu Devotee.
Oh, wow.
Not looking good for Duke.
Come on, big dog.
I do love the Scry, too, on this Devotee, though, especially in a Mardu deck, where you're trying to get rid of those lands.
So far, I'm tracking a separate number. The number is 1, I believe, and it is the times in this game that Reid has attacked or blocked.
Oh.
I think it was just turn 2.
Yeah, I think you're right. Not what you want to do with an aggressive red-white build.
Ooh, left them both on top.
Okay. Okay, top.
That's exciting.
We're going to play another Snow Kitty out here. 4/2.
What? Can we play his deck after this?
We got the nod, yes.
Man.
We got the nod, yes.
Man.
But here's the thing. Reid is such an optimist, right? And he'll do the deck and he'll be like, you know what? I didn't open the pool I wanted, but I did the best that I could.
No, he has the soul of someone who really honors the spirit of competition. His circumstances aren't good. That doesn't matter. It is what it is, and it's on him to do the best that he can with what he's gotten. It's an honorable perspective. But it doesn't have to be mine right now. I can just enjoy what's happening.
Well, what's happening is an enormous attack from David here. The Ox coming in as well. It has Vigilance. It's an 0/4, but it's coming along with 3 mobilized warriors. And then we've got another 2 coming in from that Bearer of Glory. Jeez. But remember, Reid went top, everybody. So what was it? There's some blocks. Okay. We're going to sacrifice. How many we're going to do here? Draw. Twin bolt. Twin bolt your face.
I guess we'll never know what was on top.
I know. I really actually do want to know.
Me too. Oh, me too.
What could it have been?
Shivan Dragon? I'm not sure. I mean, let's
Hill
go
Giant.
to
Hill Giant.
Let's go to the tape.
Sure.
Let's go to the tape here. Hold on.
Let's take a look at another upcoming event, everybody. SCGCon Hartford is coming your way May 16th through the 18th. Also a regional championship, just like Minneapolis. It's going to be standard as well. $100,000 prize pool. Once again, Pro Tour invites, World Championship invite, live coverage on Twitch and YouTube. Check it out on StarCityGames.com/SCGCon. All right, here we are right away, jumping into game number 2. That's Quarry Mountain Monastery there for Reid Duke. A cool land that's better in the late game to help you find some card advantage.
Especially with all the top-end power Reid has.
Ooh, Reid changed his deck. Check this out.
Okay.
Hey, all right, here we go. Enoch Wayfarer. We're going to get this forest into hand. And this is a cool thing you can do in a sealed deck tournament, right? Is show up with one deck and then sideboard into a completely different one.
There's a couple different sort of sideboarding philosophies. Sometimes it's very straightforward, like disenchants against artifacts and enchantments. Sometimes it's a set has color hosers, your death marks and flash freezes work against the right opponents. But sometimes, especially for someone of Reid's ability level, you can kind of sense either, one, I misbuilt my deck, or two, this matchup is such that my green cards, even if they're abstractly weaker, could be better suited for this game.
Right. Enoch Wayfarer here, getting in a couple of times. And now we've got a Sagu Pummeler. I actually love this card, 4/4, Reach, and has renewability from the graveyard to give a +1/+1 counter and a Reach counter to another creature.
Yeah, I mean, very efficiently statted, good on offense, good on defense, good early, good late. Some very nice nuts and bolts common.
Reid able to put up a big creature here. Didn't do a lot of that in game number 1.
No. The first game was pretty rough from an attacking and blocking standpoint.
Oh my God. Okay, so we had a Caustic Exile Twin Bolt combo there to take down both of Reid's creatures from David. Sag.
Taking a little wind out of Reid's sails, but also, it's 2 cards for 2 cards. One of the
Sure.
cards that died has some play in the graveyard, so as far as all of your creatures dying again goes, that one was okay.
All right, that Quarry Mountain Monastery saw an island there at the top for Reid Duke at the end of David's turn. He had just passed back, so now we're going to be able to play that. So we've sideboarded full teamer here. Nice. David, once again, just going to pass the turn, and this is where these cards kind of start to show off, this Mountain Monastery. Pulling ahead here for Reid, another forest revealed. What are we casting? All right, Karakit Guardian, one of the best uncommons in this set. This thing has hexproof until it deals damage. Also flying and vigilance, no big deal. Oh, trample.
Yeah, the classic mythic uncommon.
Yeah. No, Hill Giant, this card is not.
You ever have the experience of the pre-release, you're playing against people who say, haven't played Magic in a long time,
Yeah,
or maybe this is my first event, or whatever. And no judgment, but maybe they're not always playing the most efficiently. A couple of my opponents in that space got me good with this one.
Oh, yeah.
It was enough. It was enough a few times to take me down.
Absolutely. Stadium Headliner was the play there from David last turn. This is a little 1/1. Mobilize 1 in a red. You can sacrifice it and deals damage to a creature equal to the number of creatures you control. So not great right here. In comes the Guardian for 6. Whoosh. All right, Rescue Leopard made the cut here for game number 2.
Yeah. Well, I don't I don't get the impression there was an embarrassment of riches hanging out in Reid's sideboard. Like, maybe the Teamer deck is better contextually or in absolute terms, but we're still going to see some of the superstars from Game 1.
This is an attempt at a Dragon's Prey, but we got to pay more because Carrot Kick Guardian is a dragon.
Right, so I don't know exactly what the ruling is here. I guess we'll find it in a moment, but it's a 3-mana kill spell or 5 if it's targeting a dragon. David only had 4 mana available.
Right.
So they're saying, I guess they're just saying unwind it and move along.
Yeah. Like you just can't cast it, so. And there we go. Full 5 mana, Carrot Kick Guardian down. Try land pass.
And with David really not doing very much, Reid can kind of measure his threats in such a way where he's developing his board while also activating the Quarry Monastery every single turn. So he's still applying pressure on the battlefield, but if the game happens to slow down, he'll also have some extra cards to work with.
David here is actually reading the other kind of cool rare land that Reid has, which is Kislev Village, which lets you take a Scry 2, I want to say. And we're going to put a trample counter onto the Leopard here from the Sagu Pummeler. Ooh, this looks like Dragonclaw Strike, so we're going to double the power and toughness, deal with that Stadium Headliner, and hit for a huge point of damage. Channel Dragonfire. That's enough! Reid Duke taking down game number 2.
Game 3. Reid with a little pep and a step.
Let's go, Reid! That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Cool conversion. Now we'll see, do we go back to the white cards for game number 3?
Ooh. I don't know.
Well, the thing is here that even if you don't intend on doing it, you got to make your opponent think you could be doing it. Yeah. So you got to shuffle in all your white cards and then take them all out and then present the same deck you had in game number 2. I'm not. I
know people do it. I know people do it.
Because, you know, what kind of cards does David want to sideboard is going to be a function of what deck does he think that you're going to present. He's probably going to assume that you are going to show the same deck that in game number 2 because you won. That's the default assumption. Yeah. But the technically appropriate thing to do here is you see Reid shuffling up to 80 cards and then cutting so David doesn't know for sure if Reid is on Teamer or on Boros.
Wow, that was actually pretty cool. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do that before. Like,
yeah, it's that's what I mean about the honoring competition. Doesn't matter that you're 1-1. It doesn't matter that obviously you're not putting those white cards back in. For God's sakes, that's not happening. We all know that, but it's what's the technically correct thing to be doing. Yes. And that's how you honor the spirit of competition.
And crucially, too, the pros will tell you every time, like the most important thing to think about in getting better at sealed deck is sideboarding.
For sure. So there's the 2 easy things, which are just the disenchants and color hosers. Yeah. The third thing is you have a sense of what the speed of the format is going to look like, and sometimes it's going to be on the faster side, it's going to be on the slower side, just kind of depending on the shape of the format. Let's take something like Ringing Strike Mastery. That card has a range, theoretically, of a 1-mana removal spell, which is crazy, or basically do nothing. Right. If the games are fast, it's a removal spell. If the game's slow, it's nothing. So you might have a sense how fast the format is on average and say, I'm going to play this card or not game 1 just because of how good it appears to be. But then you play against someone like Reid and his red-white deck in round number 2. There's not a lot of people out there playing a deck like that, but a tournament of 1,200 people, there's going to be a few. Yep. And suddenly that card becomes a lot better. Whatever you thought about it before, this is a matchup where it's likely to overperform. So that's an example of a sideboard card that's a little bit more subtle, but the best players will identify it as, I'm playing sealed. I probably don't want to play this thing game number 1, but against a certain range of my opponents, it should be on the top of my sideboard and be coming in, especially when I'm on the draw, when I need to slow the game down a little bit, when that early aggression is likely to trip me up. And there's a lot of cards in all the sets, including this one, that sort of fit that bill of, well, maybe I don't really want it against the average deck or what I expect the format to look like, but a sealed tournament this large, people are going to be doing some weird stuff or have like one random rare that this is a good answer to. And so it's important to have that on your mind while you're sideboarding and not just say, those are the cards I'm not playing and ignore them for the tournament.
I do have a bone to pick with whoever named Ringing Strike Mastery, because in the other Tarkir, it was Singing Bell Strike, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's too close.
Yeah, you'd like to think there were enough names out there. But sometimes it looks like maybe that's not the case. I don't know.
Reid here taking mulligan, as well as the opponent, it looks like. Yeah, I just did creative text for an upcoming set, so like card names are on my brain.
They didn't let me, when I was doing a little work for them a couple years ago, they didn't let me get near the names. There was a card that I pitched in a meeting that went into the file, and because I pitched it and it was a zombie that during your upkeep it dealt damage to you. I don't remember what it did, but the playtest name was Boomer Zombie.
Oh, that's
An
great.
homage
Yeah.
to the designer.
I love that.
It did go to print, but I don't even know what the card is.
Well, they should have kept the name. That's what I think.
I agree, but you can't really overstep your bounds when you're a contractor.
That's true. Truer words.
I'm just looking for my invoice to get acknowledged. Sorry, I'm not trying to change the product.
I do have a pin that I wear on my lapel sometimes that just says "Pay my invoice."
Yeah. We are singing off the same sheet of music.
Mood. Hashtag mood. Let's see if these players like their 6 any better.
Something as someone who played, obviously a lot more of the older sealed formats that people aren't familiar with, you really feel the improvement in game quality with the new mulligan rules, especially in the gold formats. There's so many times where, you play Invasion block, let's say, one of the first gold blocks. If you mulligan to 6, it's just a death sentence. There's no way you're going to be able to cast your cards. The mana fixing's too bad, and the color requirements are too extreme. Here, because the mulligan punishment is a little bit softer and there's more mana fixing at the lower rarities, you can actually play a game on 6 cards, and that was not always the case.
Okay, it looks like Kishla Village here for Reid Duke, and we have Dulkovan Encampment for David, which is kind of the white version of one of these rare lands. That one makes 2 red warrior creature tokens, and then you sacrifice them for 2 and a white. Looks like we're still on the teamer train, Patrick.
Not surprising.
Nope.
Reid did his best to maybe think that he was bringing in all of his squires again, but it looks like Reid is deciding to stick with the teamer plan.
Bear of Glory into play for David here. This is a 2/1 first strike when it's your turn, and you can pump up all your creatures for 4 and a white. And once again, we've got that 2/4, which is so excellent at gaining you card advantage, especially in a Mardu build.
Yeah, all your mobilized tokens that are sitting around not doing anything, that's a extremely powerful way to convert them.
Land go from Reid, 17. David still at 20. Move to attacks. Bear of Glory and the Hardened Tactician. Plus 2 warriors coming in. Sacrifice draw from David there before they die. Reid's at 12. Scoured Barrens brings David up to 21. And there's another Bear of Glory. Oh, excuse me. The other card is Voice of Victory. This one is Bear of Glory. Wow, they look very similar.
Yeah, Voice of Victory is the...
it's the one that makes Mobilize 2.
The more overwhelming of the two.
Yeah.
It also means in that spot that Reid's got some mana up. You don't know what's going on. Maybe there's some sweeper or flash creature you're concerned about. Voice of Victory shuts that all down.
Equilibrium Adept was the play for Reid.
Ooh.
Not great in teamers. Best home in Jeskai, of course. It's a double strike with Flurry. Marshal of the Lost is the play here from David, which...
this card is really messed up.
Yeah.
Really messed up.
You don't even have to attack with it.
Yep.
3/3 Death Touch, or whatever you attack, target creature gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of attacking creatures, which is just nasty right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't see a lot of cards that don't have lifelink that dominate a damage race the way that this does. It's not only just all of the power loaded up front, but the fact that you get a death touch blocker on the way back if you want it means that it's really hard for your opponent to playing offense is bad and playing defense is bad.
Yeah.
If they have any sort of board position. The disadvantage of the card, to the extent there is one, is if you're behind a little bit or you don't have much of a board developed, it takes a little bit of time for the ball to get rolling. But with David already so far in front, this is going to be very challenging for Reid to overcome.
I feel like they just forgot to print whenever this creature attacks.
I think it's too dissatisfying with the mobilize stuff. I think it's supposed to be speaking to the experience of,
okay,
I mobilize
that's
and
fair.
now I pump
Yeah.
and look at what I'm doing. Isn't this awesome? I'm beating someone with no cards in play. Like, this is a game. I can't wait to go to the next Spotlight Series or maybe try to qualify for the regional championships coming up in Minneapolis or Hartford. StarCityGames.com/regionals for more information. That's why it works that way.
Channel Dragonfire is going to help out Reid here. Ooh, but it looks like we're going to kill this Sagu Pummeler. That was just the only creature we had back. And there's the handshake. Reid Duke falling here to David Galperin in round number 3.